Hey, this is Joe Daniels, the voice of Rick from Rick and Morty the anime, and you're watching Voice of the Heroes.
What's good, everybody? It's the one and only one, Fleeboy Jetson, and you are listening to the number one anime podcast in the world, Voice of the Heroes. And if you're tuning in for the first time, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, click that notification bell so you don't miss any interviews or discussions with your favorite heroes and villains from around the world. And today we got a very special guest. He is the hot-headed Iharu in Kaiju number 8, and he also appeared in what I believe should be anime of the year solo leveling as Jinsuk, Mr. Ben Stegmair. How are you doing today? And welcome to the show.
I'm doing good today. It's a bright and sunny day here in Dallas. So yeah.
Oh, you in Dallas? Let's go.
Yeah,
I
man.
didn't
Yeah,
even
man.
know.
Yeah,
Let's
I see you got
go.
the hat.
Yeah, man, Cowboys are my favorite, man. I don't know. I've been an Aikman, Emmett, and Michael Irvin fan since the
Yeah.
late 90s, early 90s. So I'm huge on the Dallas Cowboys. That's dope. How is it out there for you?
It's good. It's good, man. I mean, just busy week all around. But how you thinking the Cowboys are gonna do this year? Good? Good?
I think they'll be a playoff team. Hopefully,
Good.
we see them get a little deeper into the playoffs this year than last year. But
Yeah.
we can only keep our fingers crossed, man. But let's get right into it. Kaiju number 8, season 2 has officially been greenlit and scheduled for 2025 release date. Rightfully so, after the amazing first season. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite animes out right now. You play Iharu from the show. Tell us a little about your character for those who haven't watched it.
Well, Iharu is, as you said, hot-headed. He's very blunt, very forward. He does not mince words at all. He says what he feels almost always. He has a very competitive type nature. However, he's a very different type of this kind of character. He's very uplifting towards his friends in a way that's positive, that we normally don't see, at least at the beginning of characters like, let's say, somebody like Bakugo or somebody like that.
Oh
They
my
have to
god, I'm glad you
become that.
said that because he gave similarities to Bakugo, but he's
Yeah.
one of the few characters in the show that me personally I could relate to on a IRL level. But continue,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I mean, it's great that you say that. I mean, I've said this on my Twitter, and I think I've said it before on somewhere else, that my sister came up to me and she was like, "This character looks like a mix between Kirishima and Bakugo." And I went, "Oh yeah." And so I watched My Hero Academia, and that's how I found the voice. So that's basically what the character is. It's the hot-headedness and bluntness of Bakugo, but the uplifting and like frick yeah nature of Kirishima. So yeah.
So that was my next question. What kind of direction did you decide to go to while dubbing him? So you went right to My Hero Academia to bring his personality to life, or did you bring in like
Yeah.
some?
Yeah,
Okay, so
I mean, Kaiju is kind of My Hero Academia coded, it does have that very shonen. It's one of the most shonen shows you'll ever see. But the way that really made me go in the direction of like a Kirishima was his teeth. The teeth was
mm,
a huge indicator to me. When I see characters have very sharp teeth, I know that immediately I'm gonna start talking with the teeth. And then I pull it back a little bit you know but yeah, a lot of times I'm just in the booth using as much teeth as I can. It's a lot of teeth acting that I went for it. And like I said, I got inspirations from Cliff Chapin's Bakugo and Justin Cook's Kirishima, and then I added my own flair to it, and that's kind of what the character became, and it just started naturally. So yeah.
unbelievable, amazing. Well, there you go, man. Out of all your characters, which one was the most enjoyable to dub out of, because you voice acted a couple of great characters
Mhm.
in Reincarnation of a Slime and a couple of other properties. Which one was your most enjoyable to voice?
Well, most enjoyable. I know we were just talking about, but it has to be Iharu. Like
Hero?
I don't. these last two characters I've been playing in Twilight Out of Focus and Kaiju number 8 last season.
Oh, I think I seen you tweet something about that.
Yeah, yeah. That's a romance boys love anime, but my character is very much not from a romance boys love anime. He's very shonen like. So, and I made a tweet that was just like the enjoyment I've had playing these two characters, Iharu and Gichi, has just been immense, immensely fun. I would say Adonis from the Kingdoms of Ruin, just because
I like that one.
yeah, he's a very edgy anime hero, you know, and I love to play that, but that was my first lead role, so I was a little bit stressed. But with Iharu, it's a little bit less of like the weight is off your shoulders, so I'm just able to like try things and, you know, go for things. Um and yeah, it's just so much fun. Too much fun.
Do you have a preference when it comes to voicing heroes or villains? Because you said Adonis in one, and then Iharu is like more of a hero, I would say. But
Yeah.
have you ever like got knee deep into the villain side of things?
Yeah, I mean, there was a time where all I was playing was villains or anti-villains, right? For Psychopaths, he's like the character I played was like an anti-villain, right? So a lot of the characters I play start as villains and then they either become or turn out to be good guys. And then there's just some straight up villains I play, like in Legendary Hero is Dead, you know, but on the stage. I mostly play villains, and that's what I love, man. You know, like I dream of playing like a Sukuna one day, you know, just
Mm.
somebody who is pure, immense evil, and that's okay, right? That's all they
So
just
you,
enjoy being evil, and that's great. So you know, Adonis was very much not a hero, and uh it's so fun to just jump into somebody who's just not a good guy at all. It's so great. I love that. Yeah.
all right, we know you played a lot of anime characters, right? What do you say, or what would you say about playing like a animated Marvel villain or something like that? And if you was to play one, which one would it be?
Animated Marvel villain. That's such a good question. Um, well, I mean, I've always had my eyes on Magneto. Like a young Magneto would be so much
Mm.
fun to play. So much fun to play. Um,
Hey man, I
but
don't mean to put you on the spot. Could we get your best impression of a young
No, no,
Magneto?
no Magneto impression. I don't have a good Magneto impression. It would have to be something different.
So give me
A
some, give me some, give me a character that you feel like you would crush in an audition.
crush in an audition. Oh, like in like a uh uh in like a Marvel sense or like
Matter of
a
fact, let's do DC and Marvel. You can
DC
get
and
both
Marvel.
of them.
Okay,
Let's play in
okay.
the whole superhero
Yeah.
genre for a
He
second.
doesn't necessarily have a voice, like a distinct voice yet, but the Batman Who Laughs would be so much
Oh,
fun to
oh,
play if they did an
oh.
adaptation of that. I'm never holding my breath for this stuff, right? But it's like
Yeah.
that would be
My God,
very
that is
enjoyable.
actually a good one right there. I would love to see that animated. And to be honest, you know, DC animated films are, in my personal opinion, better than their actual films. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I think they're
Yeah,
like
man.
really high quality. They flush out the comic stories that we love. And I believe a Batman Who Laughs story
Yeah.
would be amazing. My God,
Yeah.
you just threw so many images in my head, man.
Yeah.
All right, so
The only hero I would like to play would be Batwing. Nightwing,
Batwing,
sorry. A Nightwing.
Nightwing.
Yeah, it's Nightwing is my favorite DC superhero, and that's like that would
Hey
be
man, you
great.
can't go wrong with Dick Grayson, man. One of the
Dude,
best
never
Robins to
wrong.
ever do it. I can't lie. Do you
Never
watch
wrong.
any of the animes you work on?
Oh yeah, yeah, dude. I mean, if you look behind me, you can tell this is only like a percentage of my like collection. I it goes all the way over there, and I've been a fan since I was a little kid. So I watch everything I'm in. I watch everything my friends are in, and then some. So yeah, I watch all of it.
Do you criticize yourself sometimes? Like, man, I could have put a little more, or I could have.
Oh, all the time, man. You know, all the time. and uh it's it's stressful for somebody like me because I've always performed on the stage, right?
Yeah.
And what I do a lot is I film myself once or twice just to get an overall like, okay, I need to do better than this and this and this and this. But when you see like on Twitter, people like repost stuff or after you watch the episode and you're like, I wish I could do better than and this and this, and I wish I could do this and you're working with like, your heroes, right? In in Kingdoms of Ruin, I had a fight with Eric Vale, right?
Mm,
Who's my anime hero, right?
yeah.
And I've been directed by Aaron Dismuke, who's like my modern day inspiration for dubbing, right? So it's like when you're working with these people who are the upper echelon,
Yeah, the
the
legends,
people who've
man.
been at it for years and years and years, it makes you feel, you know, not as good. But it's a you can't beat yourself up too much about it because you have to use it as a vein to get better. So yeah, I criticize myself all the time. But I you have to use it, to
Yeah,
keep
in a
going forward.
positive way. That way it's a stepping stone for you. That's pretty dope.
Mm.
Now, if we decided to make a Mount Rushmore of anime characters, who would your Mount Rushmore be and
Okay.
why?
Okay, obviously Goku would be in there.
Of course, the GOAT.
He's the number one. He's in the
Hmm.
front. That's where he belongs. For me, right now, of course, if you're asking like, hey, like, come on, Ben, like, what is like the four like most
No, this is
important?
for you. This is only
This is
your
for
opinion,
me.
man.
This
Yeah,
is
this
for
is
me.
your Mount
Uh,
Rushmore.
yeah, Goku would be in there, but towards the back. Thorfinn is number one, right?
Ooh,
Thorfinn's number one. He's my
I like that
favorite.
answer.
He's my favorite fictional character of all time, bar none. He has the best character growth and best
Development. He
character
got a
arc
lot of
ever.
character development in
Hmm.
what's the name of the anime?
Vinland Saga.
Oh, I can't remember Thorfinn's anime right now. I'm stuck.
Vinland Saga.
Vin Saga. Vin
Yeah.
Saga. Shout out my boy John Swasey. I think he directed some of that, if I'm not
He might
mistaken.
have. He might have. I don't remember. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, Vinland Saga, man. What a great anime. All right,
Yeah,
so you
dude.
got Thorfinn and Goku up there.
Yeah. Um, can I go into manga? If
Hey,
or
let's do it
anime.
because 9 times out of
Yeah.
10, whatever manga you bring out, more likely down the line probably either be made into an anime
Yeah.
or something like that.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, we'll see if this ever gets in. But Miyamoto Musashi from Vagabond is a huge one of my favorite characters ever. And then Guts from Berserk. So like those the
Um,
three big sign-ins, Vagabond, Vinland Saga, and Berserk, are like my main three that I just latch onto and I love. So yeah.
what's speaking of mangas, right? If you could recommend me right now a couple of mangas to read, what would you recommend? Because we see you got a whole collection back there of
Yeah.
stuff.
Um, well, if you're looking for a shonen uh that I feel like the world has kind of forgotten about, One Punch Man. Week after week, the art, the storytelling is on point every single week. If you're looking for a good sign-in, Vagabond's where you want to go. If you're looking for the next big thing, I would read Gachia Kuta or Witch Hat Atelier. And that's the four that I recommend.
I believe they confirmed One Punch Man season 3, so I'm excited for that because they got a lot of
Yeah.
material to go off of now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, dude. And I mean, yeah, Garo is so great in One Punch Man. So it's gonna be so exciting for them to get a good adaptation. So
So
yeah.
now let's talk a little about yourself, right? What was you doing before acting, and what inspired you to become an actor?
Uh, well, I've been acting since middle school, not professionally, right? Not at all. But acting has kind of taken over my life since then. Like it's what I did at the clubs at school. It's what I did all this stuff. So, but before voice acting, I was a professional actor here in Dallas, performing in performing in shows. Um, I guess before acting, I was trying to be a soccer player, a professional soccer player in high school.
Okay.
Um, but I had to choose my sophomore year of high school because they were making decisions, and I was the captain of the JV team at the time, and they were like, "Hey, you need to choose between this and this because you can't do both." And I was like, "I think I'm gonna choose theater." Um, and I did. So yeah.
That's amazing. How awesome would it be to combine both and to land a spot in Blue Lock? I mean, something to think
I'm not
about.
saying anything, bro. I'm not saying anything.
Oh,
No, 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 no.
okay, okay.
I'm not saying anything in the sense of like I don't know if it's ever gonna happen,
But there's
So
possibilities. Leave that door open.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to. There's a possibility for anything, but
True.
this is so out of my. I try not to worry about it. I'm just gonna sit back. I'm gonna enjoy Blue Lock, and if something happens, something happens. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Blue Lock season 2 is on the way. I can't wait for that.
Ooh, it's gonna
What
be
do
so
you
good.
what do you think is the biggest misconception about voice acting?
Um. Well, if mainly what I know is dub voice acting, right? Um, I guess the main misconception for me was how um confined some of the acting can be. This is why I will say this, and I'll continue to say this till the end of my days, is that dub voice acting, in my opinion, is the best and hardest voice acting because you exist within these parameters, which have grown because our engineers are so talented and our directors are so talented and the people who run the shows are so talented. But you exist where you have to say a specific amount of lines for the lip flaps. You have to do specific things because it's not like other shows. It's not the animation is going around the voice actor. It's you're going around the animation. So they aren't going to change the flaps for you. So that's something you have to realize. It's confined, right? It's confined acting, and you have to learn from it. And it takes years of practice and learning and watching the best of the best do it to actually really grab a hold of it. So yeah.
How hard is like, trying to stay consistent with the voice flaps? Do you
Well,
like
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, I'm saying do you like look at it like do they let y'all what's the word I'm looking for? Do they let y'all like sometime go off the head or improvise or something like that?
It
Or
depends
y'all
on
have to stay
yeah.
straight to the script?
Yeah, it depends on the show and who you are. I think like if Ian Sinclair as the narrator in Love is War wants to do some wild, of course he can. He's Ian Sinclair, right? And the director has okayed it and stuff like that. But most of the time they want you to stay on the script. But like I said, um our engineers are so talented now that we don't have to like look at the lip flaps, right? Because they're able to
Mm.
squish it, extend it, and then move it into the right place. So they're really talented at doing that. However, sometimes your first read is too long or it's too short, and then you have to do it again but you have to give it a different acting direction to get what is needed for the flaps, right?
Yeah.
And our team at Crunchyroll is really, really, you know, really persistent and I'm happy that they are in making sure that the lip flaps are consistent and clean. And yeah, it's great, but it's hard to grasp, definitely.
Yeah, I was saying that because a lot of y'all are more or less are actors. People get it confused. Voice actors, no, they're actors. Like they 9 times out of 10 before they was doing voice acting, they were actors. Like I
Yeah.
believe in a sense where you can't voice act if you never improv or staged or something like that, right? And we had
Yeah.
a gentleman up here one time, um, one of the Naruto cast members, I believe it was Doug Airholtz, right? And he
Yeah.
said something along the lines where he wished his dubbing, like for his character's death scene, was less than what he got, because it would have impacted the scene a lot more if,
Mm.
instead of him talking so much throughout the scene of his character dying, right?
Yeah.
He, said a little more less, it would have been a little more impactful. So that's one of the reasons I asked that question. But speaking of lines from characters, what was the one line from one of your characters that resonated with you on a personal level?
Um, well, I play a lot of out there characters. So getting something that's like deeply personal is hard. Iharu will have a speech in season 2. I believe this part will be in season 2. We don't know, maybe it'll be in something else. But he has a speech later on in the manga that does hit me, but I haven't delivered that yet. Something I delivered recently.
Or what was
Uh,
your favorite line? Let's just say that. What's your
oh
favorite
yeah.
line of
Well,
all your
it's the
characters?
same. It's the same. I mean,
Oh,
I mean, my favorite line is "Get wrecked" from Iharu. I love saying it anytime. I love it. But the line that resonates with the most is Geechee in Twilight Out of Focus. He's a director, right? So
mm.
he does artsy stuff, and he said something like, "Why is art pain?" And he like screamed it, and he was like in despair, like, what if people don't like my film, what if people don't like this? And I was like, dude, that's what I go through every every time a new episode drops or a play gets put up. I'm just like, "Oh, why is art pain?" I was like, yeah, so true.
That's an amazing answer, man. That's an amazing answer. Are there any upcoming or ongoing anime series you would like to be a part of? I know that's like hell yeah, like all of them, but are there
Yeah.
like certain ones that you got your eye on? You're like, man, I really would like to be a part of this, or
Yeah.
something coming out because you read a lot of mangas.
Mhm.
So, is there anything that you might be interested in transforming into anime that you would like to be a part of?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Dan to Dan has been one of my favorites, and
Mm.
that's coming out soon. However, Crunchyroll isn't getting that, so I'm not holding my breath. But I would love to be a part of it. Even just a small character would be amazing for me because I love Dan to Dan so much. And then the only one I have my eye on, because I love Soul Eater so much, because I love Fire Force, is what I talked about earlier. It's this show called it's this manga called Gachiakuta. Um, and that is very much Soul Eater style, and I
Mm.
love it. I love it. It's very dark, very gritty, and I love that stuff. But of course, there are others. There are characters that I read in like things like Kagurabachi or Witch Hat Atelier or I don't know, like Akane Banashi, like smaller mangas like that are getting anime adaptations or haven't gotten them. That I'm like, I would love to be in all of these,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
yeah, yeah. And if I don't, that's okay, right? Because the best manga and anime is just around the corner. So it's no big
True.
deal.
And you've been doing an amazing job, man, lately. You've been
Thank you.
busy, been working, and some of
Hmm.
the best animes that came out this year. But hands down, Solo Leveling is one of the best I've seen personally. And
Spectacular, huh?
yeah, and even though I don't know if we should talk about spoilers, but your character had it pretty rough in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty rough. But it's still dope to see that you was a part of it, especially that arc was so dope to the manga. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, manhwa. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty dope to see. And also Kaiju number 8. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Shout out my boy Skateboard BP. He does a lot of TikTok stuff with animes, recommendations, mangas, things like that. He's been talking about Kaiju number 8 since it first dropped, when it was a
Mm,
manga in I think 2020 or something like that. He was like, "Yo, bro, like you gotta read this. This is
yeah.
gonna be the next big anime." And here we are 4 years later, and you're one of the favorite characters in there, Because, everybody loves a Bakugo type character that's, real hot-headed, hates losing, funny at times, he's a really dope character. But speaking of animes, right? What would be your top 3 animes of all time? Like I said, this is your personal opinion. You ain't gotta go with the popular opinion, but what are your top 3?
Yeah, well, it's I feel like it switches every day, but the 3 that are always up there is Vinland Saga, it's Mob Psycho, and it's this is a good question. Oh no.
Got room for one more.
I got room for one more, dude.
I'm surprised you said Mob Psycho.
Yeah, dude, I love Mob. I love Mob so much. It's one of the reasons why I'm doing voiceover is because the dub was so good. I love it so much. And then I don't know. I'll just throw something out like let's just throw out My Hero Academia. I love My Hero. It's
Hey,
what brought me in.
I'm not gonna lie to you, right? My Hero Academia has been getting so good, so surprisingly good. Like in the beginning, it was a kind of sleeper for me. My Hero Academia fans don't kill me, but it was a sleeper for me where I used to nod off during episodes. But lately, some of these arcs are hand down some of the best storytelling I've seen in anime so far, and I'm excited for the season finale of this season. I think we're in season 7 now, and what possibly could be the last season of My Hero Academia, season 8. So that's good 3, interesting 3.
I
with
do have to
Psycho,
say, I do have to say, I probably would replace it with Haikyuu if I would ask it, if you would ask me again, because I was just thinking like, oh, I've watched Haikyuu like 3 times. It's so good. Yeah.
Hey, I don't blame you. I feel the same way about Naruto. All right. Now, are there any upcoming projects or conventions that's coming up that you're able to talk about?
No, nothing. I mean, other than Twilight Out of Focus, the show that I'm in right now, the arc is about my character, this upcoming arc. So Twilight Out of Focus deals with 3 separate love stories, and this week, this Thursday, is the start of my love story. So check those out. I don't have any cons, but if you want me to go to a con, tell your local con.
Definitely. And you know what's up? I might check out, what is it? Twilight by Focus?
Twilight Out of Focus. Yeah.
Twilight Out of Focus. I got to check that out just for your arc, man. I'm definitely going to check it out. Excited for it. Let the heroes and villains in the chat know where to find you at on social media.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at bstegmairvo. You can find me on Instagram on steg.stagram. If you're interested in things like manga reviews, I haven't done it for a while, but I'm going to get back to it. You can go to Manga Theater on YouTube, and that's it.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Heroes, villains, links will be in the description below. And until next time, I'll see y'all. Y'all have a great one.
Sing it with me, pretty Cali, pretty